place where a lake monster dragged their bus underwater before they can even understand what's happening. Camp Lakebottom is one of the most underrated cartoons of the 2010s. Blending spooky monsters,
underrated?
hilarious comedy, and surprisingly creative adventures
I
into
don't
one
know if
unforgettable
it's
summer
actually
camp
underrated.
experience. Across 3 seasons, the series introduced us to a camp
There were
where
3
every
seasons of
day
it?
brought a new
I guess
supernatural
I'm
disaster. From
kinda
zombies
slow,
and giant monsters
maybe,
to mad scientists
probably.
and ancient curses. And let's recap the entirety
There
of
are
Camp Lakebottom
curses,
from beginning to
monsters,
end. In the first episode,
and things
McGee
that
and his
will
older
definitely
brother
make you
Susie are
scared.
waiting for the bus to Camp Sunny Smiles,
No,
hoping for a
scary.
normal summer. But Jordan Butt
And
Squat,
scary
the
is-
spoiled
and
son of the
scary
camp
same
owner,
thing.
ruins that plan almost immediately. Susie gets on
Yeah,
the
I
real Sunny
hate
Smiles
him.
bus, while Butt
Like,
Squat sends McGee to
Let's really started this whole series just because of something. I don't know what it is.
an old broken down bus and pretends the main one is full. On the bus, McGee meets Gretchen and Squirt, and the 3 kids think they're still going to Sunny Smiles. However, Butt Squat changes a road sign and sends them far away from the camp they expected. They end up at Camp Lakebottom, a foggy and ruined looking place where a lake monster dragged their bus underwater before they can even understand what's happening. Then they meet Sawyer, a zombie counselor with a chainsaw hand, Armand, a giant Sasquatch, and Rosebud, the very strange camp cook. At first,
Strange cook camp, and the only reason why a lot of people don't actually come to that camp.
Think the monsters want to eat them, so they try to escape. When they finally reach the shiny Camp Sunny Smiles across the lake, they learn it is not the safe paradise they imagined. Butt Squat locks them in a cage and tries to use them as targets in a watermelon seed spitting contest. Just when things look terrible, the Lakebottom monsters arrive and scare off the Sunny Smiles campers. McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt realize that Lakebottom may look scary, but it's the camp that actually protects them. By the end, they choose to stay. In the next episode, McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt begin settling into life at Camp Lakebottom, but Butt Squat returns on a flashy yacht to brag about Camp Sunny Smiles. He says his camp is better at everything, and McGee takes that insult very personally. To defend Lakebottom, he declares that anything Sunny Smiles can do, Lakebottom can do better. What starts as a simple rivalry soon turns into a wild contest filled with climbing, crafting, surfing, and danger.
Like, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to compete with the other camp. You don't have to do all that just because you're trying to show up to the other camp. Hey, my camp better than yours. My camp do 10 times better. You don't gotta do all that.
Lakebottom style ideas. Sunny Smiles depends on expensive equipment and perfect looking activities, while Lakebottom uses monsters, broken gear, and pure chaos. McGee wants to prove that his camp is the best, but his pride pushes the competition too far. Butt Squat tries to plant the Sunny Smiles flag on Mount Vidlow, a dangerous volcanic mountain, and the flag cracks the mountain open. Lava begins rushing toward Camp Lakebottom, turning the contest into a real disaster. Even though Butt Squat caused the problem and keeps acting like a jerk, McGee still saves it. Then he uses the Sunny Smiles yacht to redirect water and stop the lava before it destroys the camp. The plan works, just not in a clean or normal way. Butt Squat still promises revenge, but McGee has already proved what matters. Lakebottom may be messy and strange, but it has heart. In the next episode, McGee tries to prove that he's a master prankster. Even though his jokes are more annoying than funny, his friends are not scared, and they're definitely not impressed, so McGee starts thinking he has lost his prank power. Desperate to become great again, he uses an old chant and accidentally releases Hanky Pranky,
Was this like in one of the
lives for pranks. At first, McGee believes Hanky Pranky can teach him how to pull real.
You trick McGee into opening the gate, but McGee didn't realize the reason in the bathroom to why they trap him in the first place.
Quickly takes control of the whole situation. What begins as prank training turns into a dangerous mess of traps, tricks, and humiliation. Hanky Pranky does not want to be McGee's helper. He wants Camp Lakebottom as his own playground. The pranks become more extreme, and McGee realizes that his friends are no longer laughing. They're scared, hurt, and tired of being targets. Since Hanky Pranky knows every normal trick, McGee cannot beat him by playing the same game. Instead, he uses the pixie's huge ego against him and sets up an unexpected reversal. By the end, McGee understands that a prank only works when everyone can laugh at it afterward. Once friends are truly frightened or harmed, it stops being a joke. In the next episode, Sawyer admits that he misses his mother, and McGee tries to help him feel better. Sadly, this good deed brings a huge problem to Camp Lakebottom. Sawyer's zombie mother arrives, and she's not just a sweet family visitor, she's obsessed with eating brains. Sawyer loves his mom, but he is embarrassed.
Sawyer is different from the mother. Sawyer don't eat brains, he loves human and kids, but so her mom is like more into the zombie version of the actual zombie.
embarrassed because she still treats him like a little kid and sees the campers as snacks. McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt try to be polite at first, but keeping her happy is almost impossible when she keeps looking for chances to eat them. Sawyer gets trapped between two sides. He does not want to upset his mother, but he also has to protect his friends and the life he's built at Lakebottom. His mom wants him to come home, act like a proper old-fashioned zombie, and follow the brain-eating future she expects for him. The more she pushes, the clearer it becomes that Sawyer cannot keep avoiding the truth. Eventually, he stands up to her and explains that Camp Lakebottom is his home now. McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt, and the other counselors are his family too. Sawyer finally steps out of his mother's shadow, protects the campers, and chooses his own life. In the next episode, Camp Lakebottom holds a horse-themed contest, and McGee manages to beat Bud Squat. As his prize, he gets to choose anything he wants, but instead of picking something normal, he chooses an old horse head hanging on the wall. Of course, this is Lakebottom, so the head is alive. It introduces itself as Flea Biscuit, and McGee quickly treats it like a weird new friend. First, the kids have fun with him, but the missing half of the problem soon appears. Flea Biscuit's headless body is still wandering around, and it wants its head back. Even worse, the body starts stealing other Lakebottomers' heads while searching for its own. What looked like a silly prize turns into a full camp emergency. McGee does not want to lose Flea Biscuit, but when his friends and the counselors start losing their heads, the danger becomes too big to ignore. Gretchen and Squirt help him see that Flea Biscuit is not a trophy, a toy, or a pet. He belongs with his own body, even if that means McGee has to get him up. The kids finally reunite the head and the body, stopping the chaos before the camp turns into a total rodeo disaster. In the next episode, McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt take an old submarine into the deep parts of Lake Icky-Gloomy. The trip already sounds like a bad idea, and then they accidentally fire a torpedo that blows up an underwater gate. Behind the gate, they discover Camp Bottom Lake, an underwater version.
What would you do if you met an evil version of yourself on the water?
Camp Lakebottom. There, they meet fish-like versions of themselves called McGill, Gretchfish, and Spout. At first, the underwater campers welcome them, but the truth soon comes out. It's been hiding behind the gate to protect itself from Squid Squat, a giant sea monster version of Butt Squat. The fish campers are so afraid of him that they're willing to use McGee and his friends as bait. McGee understands their fear, but he tells them that hiding forever will never solve the problem. Since the surface kids...
I expect the squid to actually been Butt Squat, because Butt Squat is the reason we get Camp Lakebottom
responsibility and help fix the mess. With the submarine, torpedoes, and teamwork from both camps, they fight back and drive Squid Squad away. Camp Bottom Lake learns that it can defend itself, and McGee's group leaves knowing they actually helped the underwater campers become braver. In the next episode, Gretchen, McGee, and Squirt find a strange old clock on the beach. At first, it looks like useless junk, but it is really a time travel device. When the kids start messing with it, they're thrown through different moments in Camp Lakebottom's past and future. In the future, they see a terrible version of the camp where Butt Squad has taken over everything. He's turned the camp's slime source into a business, using it like a gold mine and building a slime empire around it. The counselors are older, the camp has lost its spirit, and Lakebottom no longer feels free or weird in the right way. The kids realize that this dark future exists because something went wrong in the past. Using the clock, they try to return to the correct and stop Butt Squat before he can control the slime source. Time travel makes the problem even messier because every wrong move can create another disaster. Still, the kids keep trying until they finally change the right event. Butt Squat's slime empire disappears, and Camp Lake...
Thing is, every mess up thing they do is causing it to mess up the fabric of time, and you can mess up what happened in the future by doing that.
Bottom returns to its strange, monster-filled self. For once, breaking time actually helps save the day. In the next episode, McGee starts believing that nothing at Camp Lakebottom can many.
This is getting crazy. If you're enjoying this show, hit that subscribe button to join the Reaction LJ family.
So McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt go looking for something that can truly frighten him. They end up at the Haunted Howler, an old cursed haunted house ride that is much more dangerous than it looks. McGee treats the first scares like jokes. Blades, upside-down rooms, creepy figures, riddles, and dark corridors do not seem to affect him. But the ride keeps changing. It predicts their choices, blocks their exits, and turns their fears into something personal. Gretchen and Squirt are genuinely terrified, while McGee slowly realizes that he's not as fearless as he pretends to be. The Haunted Howler traps him because he's
the fearless person. Like, he had to have this coffin and the courage to not be scared of certain things.
By the end, he learns that fear is not weakness. Sometimes it's the thing that helps people survive. In the next episode, the bottom dwellers discover a prehistoric valley hidden in the woods. Inside, they find a cursed crystal with the power to turn living things into earlier, more primitive versions of themselves. But Squat gets hit by the crystal first and transforms into a lizard-like creature called Iguana Squat. At first, McGee could easily see this as payback because Butt Squat causes trouble all the time.
I don't understand
but the situation quickly becomes dangerous. The valley is full of dinosaurs, wild creatures, and natural hazards that make every step risky. Even worse, if the crystal's power keeps spreading, everyone could be forced back into a prehistoric version of themselves. McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt try to understand how the curse works while avoiding the dangers around them. The answer comes from using sunlight and the right reflection to reverse the crystal's effect. Primitive Butt Squat keeps creating problems because even as Iguana Squat, he somehow remains annoying. Still, the team manages to reverse the curse before it spreads too far. Butt Squat returns to normal, though of course he does not learn much from the experience. Some things apparently survive evolution. In the season 1 finale, the campers hear the legend of Captain Wiggly, a strange old figure who supposedly buried a great treasure somewhere near camp.
Y'all to do, y'all should have kept him the way he is, because he was better as a lizard than being bad as me old Butt Squat, who just being mean to y'all for no reason.
Lakebottom. McGee immediately turns the story into a serious treasure hunt because a mystery like that is impossible for him to ignore. Butt Squad also wants the treasure, so the search becomes another rivalry. The clues lead them through tunnels, caves, and dangerous creature-filled areas where every step feels like a trap. McGee wants to prove he's the real treasure hunter. Butt Squad wants to cheat his way to the prize, and Gretchen can see that the whole adventure is becoming too dangerous.
He's trying to prove something that he can be better than McGee, so he can probably get McGee's sister, or is it something else that Butt Squad is doing? Why he always have to be in competition with McGee?
Crocodiles and Captain Wiggly's old tricks turn the hunt into a classic Lakebottom survival mess. Everyone keeps pushing forward because they believe a chest of gold must be waiting at the end. But when they finally reach the truth, the treasure is not exactly what they expected. Captain Wiggly was a prankster, and the real prize is the ridiculous trap-filled hunt itself. McGee and Butt Squad are disappointed, but for Camp Lakebottom, that kind of ending makes perfect sense. Back then, Sawyer claimed the area with a legal deed, meaning the land that later became Camp Lakebottom originally belonged to him. Of course, the Butt Squat family was already causing problems even in the past. Butt Squat's ancestor, Grandpappy Blackbutt, wanted the land for himself and tried to steal the deed from Sawyer. This is important because it shows that the fight between Lakebottom and the Butt Squats is not just a random camp rivalry. It goes back generations. The Butt Squat family has always wanted control, while Sawyer has always been connected to the strange, messy, and free spirit of Lakebottom. Sawyer protects the deed, and because of that, the land stays with its rightful owner. So before McGee ever arrives, the biggest conflict of the series is already planned. In the first episode of Season 2, McGee catches a bad cold, and at Camp Lakebottom, even a normal sickness cannot stay normal for long. His runny nose and sneezes begin giving him strange, broken glimpses of the future. McGee starts calling himself Nostradamus and becomes convinced that he can predict what will happen next.
Somebody who can sneeze and see the future just by his sneeze.
The visions are unclear, especially the ones that seem to show Slimy in danger. Rosebud's cooking, Butt Squat's interference, and the camp's usual weirdness make McGee misread almost everything he sees. While trying to save Slimy from a future disaster, he drags Gretchen and Squirt into more trouble and accidentally causes some stop. His friends slowly help him understand that a strange vision is not the same thing as guaranteed fate. McGee has to pay attention to what is really happening instead of blindly trusting his nose. In the end, Slimy is not a doomed victim or some future meal. He remains one of the camp's strangest and most loyal friends. And McGee learns that even a magical sneeze needs common sense. In the next episode, McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt discover that Slimy has been spending time with his underwater bottom lurker friends. McGee feels hurt because he sees Slimy as one of the surface camper's special friends.
So Slimy is like one of y'all special friends, and this only sea creature that will really kill anything to save y'all.
Underwater campers, however, believe Slimy does not belong only to Camp Lakebottom. Both sides begin competing for his attention, and a friendship turns into a messy tug-of-war. Instead of treating Slimy like a friend, they start treating him like something they can claim. The surface campers want him with them, the bottom lurkers want him underwater. The tension grows worse with every argument, with lake monsters, Butt Squat's interference, and the surface versus underwater rivalry getting bigger. Slimy ends up in real danger.
I've never actually seen what Slimy really look like.
danger. McGee finally understands that the problem is not Slimy having other friends. The real problem is everyone trying to own him. The surface campers and the underwater campers work together to save him, and that cooperation fixes what jealousy almost ruined. By the end, they accept that Slimy can be part of both worlds. In the finale episode, the final week of summer is getting close, and McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt realize that their time at Camp Lakebottom is almost over. They try to act casual, but every part of the camp reminds them of the strange adventures they've shared. While helping the counselors as staff in training, they meet two new campers who were kicked out of Camp Sunny Smiles, Portnoy and Sasha Smithowicz.
Will you stay at this camp or try to escape?
Them, but Gretchen does not trust them. The group tries to teach him how to survive the camp's mutant creatures, Rosebud's food, and general daily danger. Then Sawyer tells the legend of the Camp Lakebottom Classic, an old contest created to test the courage, endurance, and true Lakebottom spirit of anyone who wants to defend the camp. Buck Squad finds a legal loophole that gives him a claim on Lakebottom, so McGee and his friends challenge him to the Classic as their last chance. The contest throws them into the camp's grossest and most dangerous traditions, from terrifying creatures to bizarre tasks and Sunny Smiles tricks. Buck Squad cheats, as always, and the challenge even reaches
always. Buck Squad will always find some way to cheat to get what he wants. Why? It's because he thinks just because he got money and his daddy paid for mostly everything, he can do whatever he wants.
A strange dimension filled with butt squats. Portnoy and Sasha seem useless at first, but their odd skills actually help the team. In the end, McGee, Gretchen, Squirt, Portnoy, and Sasha fight for more than land. They fight for what Lakebottom means: belonging, weirdness, and never abandoning your friends. They defeat Butt Squat and save the camp. As summer ends, everyone says goodbye, and Camp Lakebottom closes as the strangest place they will never forget. And that's the complete story of
Sleepless Beats. Hardcore like December. Try